Okay. Welcome to Truck You Podcast. My name's Sebastian.
My name's Jose.
How are you, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Last time we decided not to rush with things, so let's talk about what happened in the shop for last week. Yeah, last week.
We've been having a couple clutch jobs coming in.
A lot of bad shifting.
Yeah.
Right. Clutch jobs.
What else? Coolant leaks.
Coolant leaks in the winter, obviously cold temperature. And he's pulling. Not sure why he's pulling that, but that's okay. So the biggest one we had was an interesting case, wasn't it?
Which one was that you can think
Volvo.
of? The Volvo?
The SCR.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. D13?
Yeah. That was something that's still ongoing, and I actually recorded a video about it, but we're going to talk about it in the next episode, which is deleting emissions, yes or no, pros and cons. And that was very expensive for the owner.
Oh,
and he just picked up the truck. So.
Oh, it's ready?
It's not ready. I haven't checked in what's happening with what he decided to do. He wasn't sure what he wants to do.
Okay.
The bill scared him a little bit, which I'm not.
He just purchased.
He can. But he said he wants to do it the right way, which I agree. The thing is, it's just it's definitely gonna.
It's gonna be hard on him in the beginning.
Yeah, especially running half a day with the truck.
Such bad luck, but it happens.
What else did we have? We had a couple, maybe. Well, Saturday, I know we had some new guys help out, and which is good. Yeah,
we were pretty busy on Saturday. A lot of customers were coming in. Yeah, we've been seeing the customers. It's building up.
It's picking up. Yeah, it's definitely. We see an uptick in the market for sure. Yeah, I see it on the transportation side. It's we're getting a lot more drive-in work.
Okay.
And
peak season is right around the corner, so it's
packages, and obviously, but it's interesting because intermodal's peak was earlier and didn't really happen
pick
much.
Up, right? No,
as we know across our network. All right, so what did you prepare today? What are we talking about?
I have number one would be making sure that you have no less than quarter.
But
fuel.
I don't think we did an intro. What are we talking about today?
Winter prep.
Yeah,
so we're doing a winter prep list.
Winter prep for a truck, and you created a list. I created a list as well, and we're gonna talk about the most important things. So, do you want to start off?
Yeah, I would say make sure your fuel level is no less than a quarter tank. And make sure you have some spare fuel filters in the cab with fuel additives as well.
Yeah, good one.
This way your fuel won't gel up.
Yeah, and usually the fuel has winter additives, especially in the Midwest.
But then it also depends on how they do the maintenance on their storage tanks. There's still going to be some moisture in there.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Next one would be coolant filter. Coolant filter, make sure you have your coolant leaks are addressed. Coolant filters replaced. They like to leak a lot of coolant.
Coolant protection.
Coolant protection,
leak protection. So where would you focus around that?
That would be testing that the coolant level is with the refractometer. Mm-hmm. Make sure everything it's at level. 50% water, 50% coolant.
Yeah, you can do that also with strips, right?
Yeah, they have some test strips and they have a meter.
And then we did also clamps, hoses, things like that. Just maybe have some spares.
With the cold weather,
sizes.
it's always going to start leaking.
That's what we've been seeing in our fleet, how that's been kind of blowing up and unexpectedly, cold weather shrinking and clamps. Obviously, retie the clamps. Yeah.
Next one would be air dryer. Make sure you replace your air dryer cartridge. Make sure you're getting the heater for the air dryer is working properly. And I would say make sure you put some air brake antifreeze or alcohol into the air tank to prevent any freeze ups.
Are there any? What are what would you say are the disadvantages of using alcohol?
The disadvantage would be it's gonna dry out your whole air system, like maybe like all the valves. It's gonna have some. It's gonna take a beating on them, but I guess it's part of the game. You got to do it.
Yeah. Either or, you're risking not
or freezing up on the road and.
Yeah. What can you do when you're drying your valves? What can you do to maybe correct that in spring or summer?
I would say I don't think there's any like to prevent it or to help it out since you dried them out through winter.
Yeah.
Unless your dryer is unless your compressor is pushing over, then that's gonna like yeah, that's
that
the only
could
thing.
help. Yeah, well, but that's
not you also don't want that because it's gonna mess up the O-rings on all your fittings.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have air leaks.
True. Okay. What's the next?
Yeah, we missed one with the coolant block heater.
True. So make sure it's hooked up when you're parking.
Yeah, make sure it's working properly. And the cord, inspect the cord. They like to fry up.
Yeah. On a high-end mileage trucks, usually.
Yeah.
Would be good to
replace both.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell it as a kit.
It's not that expensive. Yeah.
And then I would say, as far as the truck, I would put winter wiper blades. Make sure you're topped off with some winter washer fluid. Headlight lens are clear; they're not all fogged up.
True. I'm gonna have to edit that. But you're okay. Winter with washer fluid. Good. I think the block heater. If we could go back a step, I think we could.
You would
get a. The good tip is to have obviously a cord with a light, so you see if when you're plugging.
Yeah. Well,
to a block heater.
That's just making sure that you have
power
with the
from
light
the outlet. But if you have a cord that doesn't have that, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know if
the fuse is out
or the breaker blew out. Yeah.
So definitely a useful tip for.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Next would be the tow hooks. Make sure if your truck doesn't have a tow hook already like built in on the frame, make sure you have a tow hook. Chains.
True. That's a good one.
Tires. Want to make sure you have good tires for good traction. Good set of tires.
Yeah, we've seen a pretty significant amount of trucks now, even including our fleet. Tires literally need to be swapped. I mean, a lot of the customers that we recommend usually staying ahead of it, or at least swap half of the drives if they can afford it right now, right? But it's always have a lot of better traction, especially with freezing
conditions coming up.
But how many times I got stuck on the fuel pump because when it hits whatever snow or rain, and then you're under load, you're trying to get out, and then it's just
no traction at all, right?
Yeah, and everybody's yelling at you, hey, get out of the pump.
Everybody's giving you the finger.
Yeah. Number 5, I think we skipped. Did you skip that on purpose? Is that flares, shovels, salt?
That would be at the.
That would be at the end.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, at the end.
Could be, but let's talk about it. Flares, shovels, salt, trailer airlines. Yeah, so definitely a spare
set, especially if you have those coiled PVC ones. Those like to crack in the winter.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest ones we've been seeing so far with the cold weather. They just snap.
They get brittle and they just crack.
Yeah. So definitely a spare set. Glad hands and glad hand seals, the rubbers.
The seals as well.
So that's
regardless, you should have them year round, but obviously in the winter it's more important.
Yeah. And then number 9, the next one is snow boots, gloves, things that you
personal
might need
as a driver.
Yeah.
Just in case of a breakdown or just to get through the weather. Day in, day out, you're gonna need a good pair of snow boots.
Good blanket. I would say non-perishable snacks that can sit in the truck for a long time.
Yeah.
Electric blanket is. Did I say that already?
No,
I think
you didn't.
I've had situations before where my drivers were stuck on the side of the road and the electric blanket
helps out
a bunch, because if the truck stops for some reason working,
meantime the tow truck or mechanic gets over there.
You can draw, the electricity to heat it up, and that's been. I had one driver. It was hours by the time the entire I-80 section of it was closed, and they were trying to get to people.
Yeah.
And it kept them warm for pretty decent amount of time. It was 3 hours.
And I'm pretty sure they're inexpensive. What, like $20-$30 roughly?
Everything is
on
on Amazon right now. Is pretty
yeah,
expensive. It's look, if it saves your life,
it's worth it.
Yeah. What's next?
I would say make sure your power divider is working properly.
True.
You get stuck. Sometimes the air fittings snap on them, or the switch inside isn't working, or sometimes they're just worn out and they give out. This is around this time is when all the power dividers give out.
Yeah.
You got snow on your boots, and you get in the truck, your clutch slips, boom, you snap something. Your axle shaft or power divider.
That, and just overall, like you mentioned, salt, but boots, that's one thing. But climbing up and down the truck, that I've seen so many, especially on in winter. If you get hurt walking up or coming down, like, you're screwed. You might be left. Like, I had some guys at the rest area. One driver at the rest area just fell under the truck. So hopefully there was somebody
that saw him under.
They helped him out, but he fell under, pretty badly hurting his back. So that was not fun. So definitely paying attention, about the boots you're wearing and what's climbing up and down. But would you? So let's say we don't get prepped for winter, right? And all of a sudden, how many times we're saving guys from parking lot. We have a big parking lot, or when you freeze up your truck, what would you do?
As in, what freezes up? Fuel system or air system?
Like, you can't start it. It's minus 20.
Most likely the truck's been parked overnight or a couple of days. Oil has got thicker viscosity. Cold temperature affects it, so the engine's turning a lot slower.
Yeah.
One that we forgot was making sure that battery connections are cleaned up and batteries are load tested.
Mm-hmm. Voltage, definitely. On batteries. Clean all the terminals. I think it's periodically it should be checked, especially when you have an automatic transmission.
Yeah, throughout the year.
You want to have correct voltage. We did have that experience, remember?
Yeah.
When they literally came with one, it's just such a low voltage that transmission was acting up.
Yeah, we had one not too long ago.
Yeah, and then we just had a customer this week that also had the same thing with an automatic transmission, and luckily nothing but the batteries were starting to look pretty bad, and we clean it up for him. But batteries for sure, and just keep an eye on when you put them in, and if they're old, just do it. And even if they're working, I'll just still swap them, because you're gonna hit minus 20 and they're gonna.
That's when it'll take the beating. That's when cranking that engine over in that cold weather is what.
Yeah, but have you seen? So like, going back to the truck doesn't want to start, like, what would you do?
The steps I would take is first of all, put a jump start on there. Let the batteries charge.
The batteries first, yeah.
Yep. If you have a diesel heater, bring it close to the oil pan. Not too close. If you have like a fiberglass oil pan.
Yeah.
Let the oil warm up for a bit. Check the fuel filter. Throw some fuel additives in there. I would replace a fuel filter
immediately, right?
Yeah, immediately.
It usually means it's frozen.
Yeah, it's gelling up.
Yeah.
And leave the heater and the charger on there for at least an hour, especially in that cold weather. Let it sit. Go back and give it a try.
Yeah. I've seen, so idling is another option. Just leaving
overnight.
It's not ideal, but it's if you're hitting deep negative temperatures.
And if you have no electrical
hookup,
hookup, then
but definitely idling is an option. But you have to make sure idling is allowed.
Yeah.
But that could save your truck if it's really cold. I've seen in our parking last year, I had at least 4 trucks, and I've talked to those owners. I'm like, hey, make sure you either at least start it right up
right
in the evening, and you'll be fine in the morning. And then you lose a day of work and revenue, and
yeah.
it's just
it's just backing you up.
Yeah, and then you have to have help. And
Yeah.
then we were like, hey guys, can you help us out? And it's just like,
We're booked on our trucks and
yeah, trying to work on our fleet and customers, and it's, you know, you want to help, but it's the same at the same time. It's sometimes from what I heard, it's like, man, like, and what I also did, it's like I really don't want to go out, because I would sometimes come back in the evening and start it right up, right, if you're home. So definitely having a parking spot close to your house.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we ran through the list pretty quickly. Do you want to recap really quick what's important?
Yes, we went to making sure your fuel level is no lower than quarter tank. Spare fuel filters with your fuel filter wrenches.
Did you explain why the fuel no less than quarter tank?
The less fuel in there, the more possibility it's going to gel up.
Gel up also, yeah, and I don't think you mentioned that, but
it's also it's going to pick up some debris on the bottom. There's a possibility.
Yeah, but it's also it's a common sense, but it always, I think, helps to describe for some of the guys that.
Well, that's a year-round thing. It should be a year-round.
Yeah, exactly right.
We went through the coolant filter, address your coolant leaks.
Coolant protection, clamps, hoses, have some
heater.
spare ones if you know, typical common sizes in your side box.
Yeah, block heater, the winter front, and then we went through the washer fluid, wiper blades, headlight lens. We also went through the tow hooks, tow chains, differential lock, tires for good traction,
tires, batteries.
Batteries, make sure the electrical connections are good, cleaned up, no corrosion. Spare set of glad hands, trailer airlines. What else?
All the stuff in the truck that you need for
as personal use to stay warm, just in case of a breakdown or regardless.
Electric blanket, non-perishable foods, and emergency kit for sure, first aid kit, and then just pretty much salt, chains, things like that.
Shovel, make sure you got the shovel in there.
Yeah, I've had some stories about salt, how that saved. One actually story that we can finish with is I've known an owner that was trying to get out of an icy spot, and it was just super crazy because he got injured, and it was just purely out of, I'm not gonna say what, but he was trying to, he didn't have salt, was stuck in the dock, and he couldn't get any traction, so salt would help, obviously a shovel. So he started throwing things underneath the drives and his hand got caught. He literally, like, his hand went into under the wheel and just like messed it up. I think he was putting a mat or something.
Oh.
As the truck was in the gear, so not very smart. Help out.
So he was outside and the truck was in gear and nobody was in the cab.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very wise.
It was not very wise, no. And so that was pretty intense of emergency room and things like that had to happen, but he got out of it. But I was just like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no.
Couldn't you ask a spotter to help you
out,
or just call somebody, or just simply, like we talked, just be prepared, you know?
Yeah, get a set of chain just in case you need a little quick pull real quick.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, I think that's a wrap for this one. Hopefully it's going to help out. We'll throw it out as soon as possible just so we can...
Yeah, winter's right around the corner, so hopefully...
Yeah, so... All right, thanks, man.
All right, sounds good.